This seemingly C-class weakling became an absolute monster, we really have to look back at the 1,000 years he spent surviving in literal hell. Because you see, before all the flashy one-punch knockouts, Choi was just an orphan. He was a low-ranking hunter, completely obsessed with getting stronger just to protect himself. So, how in the world did he bridge that massive gap from a C-class nobody to an undefeated champion?
Section 1. A Deal with a Goddess. Okay, let's dive into this. To understand this deal, we have to start with Choi as a really weak C-class orphan struggling to survive. He was literally the only guy trying to make a notoriously slow and difficult skill work, the divine celestial technique. Then, one night, a radiant being just appears in his dream. She is the goddess of balance, and she offers him a contract. In her visions, a catastrophic threat is coming to Earth, and she needs him to be her servant to stop it. Now, it's an incredibly unrealistic, highly suspicious contract, but Choi, totally desperate for power, accepts it instantly. So what exactly is a goddess of balance? Well, she's a constellation. These are cosmic beings with powers rivaling gods whose specific attributes actually dictate the laws of nature within their own domains. Making a contract with one usually means binding your soul to them for life in exchange for immense power. It is the ultimate high-risk, high-reward scenario.
Section 2. 1,000 Years in Hell.
So, the goddess prepares a safe, super advanced training center for him in the abyss, complete with fun toys so he won't get bored. She opens a portal, sends him through, and, well, here is where it all goes horribly wrong. A magical storm disrupts her territory, the portal completely malfunctions, and Choi doesn't land in that cozy training center. Instead, he is dropped right into the infinite, chaotic, and completely lethal wilderness of the abyss. Now, what's really interesting about this is the sheer comedic irony. Just look at the comparison here. On the left, we have Choi's perspective. He genuinely believes that all these deadly threats he's facing are just structured training simulations carefully designed by his goddess. But on the right, reality. He is in a lethal deathmatch in a demon realm completely ungoverned by any constellation. He's facing crushing magical pressure, apocalyptic monsters, and he just thinks, wow, the goddess really made this training realistic.
And so begins his absolutely absurd, grinding journey across the centuries. In year 1, he literally walks straight into a deadly mana storm, absorbing its raw magic into his own bones and muscles because, you guessed it, he thinks it's a test. By year 100, he spent an entire century punching a massive stone serpent named Onyx, just slowly leveling up his skills until he can literally shatter its scales. Around year 200, he just dives into a highly toxic purple ocean, fighting venomous sea creatures and eating them until he develops an unconquerable immunity to poison. And by year 500, he casually takes over a demonic restaurant in the middle of a war zone, renaming it the Demon Inn and cooking up poisonous monsters just to pass the time. His sheer willpower turned the deadliest environments in the universe into mere power-ups.
Section 3. Ascending to a Constellation.
Obviously, Choi's ever-growing strength in the Demon Inn finally attracts the wrong kind of attention. The skies darken, and this massive, terrifying monster approaches. This is Varagos, the harbinger for the dominator of blood and war, an incredibly powerful constellation. Varagos actually offers Choi a spot in his master's ranks, but when Choi refuses, citing his loyalty to his goddess, Varagos is absolutely furious. He draws a monstrous blade and declares, "I will behead you as a welcome gift, a lesson for the newcomer." It's a moment of pure cinematic intensity. But naturally, Choi still hilariously misinterprets this lethal threat as just another programmed training simulation meant to push his limits. There's just no way he gets it.
The battle that follows is legendary. Let's break down exactly how Choi survives this absolute nightmare. Step 1. Viragos unleashes a terrifying spell, a corrosive rain of blood. Choi anticipates every single drop, using an S-rank technique called phantom footwork to traverse space and evade it instantly. Step 2. With Viragos protected by a powerful magic shield, Choi channels his inner strength. He gathers and compresses his energy into Fist Ki, achieving a density way beyond normal limits. Step 3. He launches himself forward and shatters the seemingly invincible magic shield with a devastating celestial punch. Choi's evolved martial arts completely, utterly overwhelm Viragos' dark magic.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale of his growth. Just look at this completely broken stat sheet. His base rank might technically still say C+, but his skills, they are entirely off the charts. He's mastered S-class phantom footwork, full counter mastery, and earned the title of the undefeated avatar of training. The secret to this ultimate power escalation wasn't just physical, though. It was mental. Standing among fallen demons, Choi finally shed the deep-seated insecurities he held as a weak human. Absolute confidence finally unlocked his true potential.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is that his battle with Varagos pushes him past the point of no return. He sacrifices his last reserves of inner strength, expanding his aura until it literally towers over the abyss. He triggers a cosmic phenomenon called resonance from the world. He transcends mortality, fundamentally altering his being to become the very first human constellation. And why this matters, what you should really take away from this, is that Choi's ascension wasn't some magical gift handed down from above. Not at all. It was the direct result of relentless self-mastery, thousands of years of brutal grinding, and an unbreakable inner strength.
Section 4. Slaying the Abyssal Hydra.
But hey, there is no rest in hell, right? As Choi begins to embrace his new existential power, his old stone serpent friend, Onyx, reemerges to warn him of a catastrophic threat. Choi is about to face the gargantuan Abyssal Hydra. This beast is the ruler of its own domain in the abyss, and its attributes are absolutely terrifying. We're talking 9 regenerating heads. It exhales a lethal poison breath that could kill lesser beings on contact. It wields uncontrolled existential power. Oh, and it launches relentless mental attacks to break its opponent's spirit. The crushing pressure and killing intent radiating from this monster are unlike anything Choi has ever faced.
Let's look at how this builds into an incredible adrenaline-pumping combat sequence. Step 1. Choi taps into his new existential power, allowing him to literally bend time so he can anticipate and dodge the Hydra's lightning-fast poison attacks. Step 2. He focuses his energy inward, infusing his fortified ki to transform his weapon into a piercing blade. Step 3. He systematically severs the Hydra's heads right at the root. By striking deep enough with his existential energy, he completely bypasses the beast's immortality and halts its regeneration for good.
Now here is where it gets genuinely hilarious. After slaying this apocalyptic beast, what does Choi do? He gets out a dimensional pocket gifted to him by Onyx and just casually stuffs the massive Hydra corpse inside. He harvests its robust leather, rare bones, and minerals to forge adamantium frying pans. Seriously. And then he uses his abyss cooking skills to safely prepare a massive, delicious feast of Hydra meat for the serpents. Because hey, even an avatar of training needs a good hobby, right?
Section 5. The Cosmic Alliance.
So, Choi can no longer hide in the shadows. His massive existential power begins drawing the hungry, incredibly dangerous gaze of ancient gods all across the universe. To understand the cosmic politics at play here, we have to realize that constellations are parasitic by nature. They rely entirely on the desires and faith of their followers to survive and maintain their strength. Because of this, a brand new, powerful constellation like Choi is a prime target. Older gods view him as either a massive threat to be eliminated or just a naive pawn to be consumed.
Realizing he really can't survive this cosmic power struggle entirely alone, Choi forms a quirky, mutual survival alliance. It's made up of himself, the childlike but incredibly cunning constellation of dreams and greed, and the sarcastic blacksmithing cat of lava and magma. Honestly, it essentially functions like a telepathic cosmic Zoom meeting of lesser constellations. But it works. They agree to help each other survive, and, crucially, they hatch a plan to help Choi secretly gather faith back on Earth.
Section 6. The Return to Earth.
And that brings us to the emotional, cinematic moment we've all been waiting for. After a millennium of endless combat, drinking poisonous seas, and fighting literal gods in hell, a portal finally opens. Choi steps through, breathing the fresh, clean air of his beloved Earth. But he can't just announce that he's a god. If rival constellations find out an Earth-born star has returned, it will trigger a massive cosmic war. So, Choi executes a covert strategy. He suppresses his overwhelming aura and just registers as a modest B-rank hunter. To build a base of worshippers safely, he has to play by Earth's mundane rules, slowly gathering followers without drawing any celestial attention.
But playing by the rules doesn't mean he holds back in a fight. During a sparring match with a super arrogant, high-ranking hunter named Hwang, Choi effortlessly dodges every single magical attack. When Hwang foolishly tries to tackle him, Choi locks him down instantly, smiling as he asks, "Are you really trying to use close-range combat against a martial arts user?" It's an incredibly satisfying, brutal beatdown that proves Choi's supreme peak martial arts are utterly broken on Earth.
Shortly after his return, he inherits a very special dungeon reward from the goddess of defeat and laziness. She teaches him that training and laziness, victory and defeat, are actually two sides of the same coin. By perfectly balancing his endless training with true cosmic enlightenment,
He inherits her authority. Earth's newest hidden deity officially ranks 127th among the constellations.
But of course, peace on Earth never lasts long. A terrifying vision reveals a massive A-class dragon disaster is about to descend upon Jeju Island, threatening thousands of lives in a harsh storm. With a catastrophe of this sheer scale looming, how will Earth's hidden constellation react? Will Choi be forced to reveal his true godlike power to protect his home? You'll have to join us in the next explainer to find out.